Yeah, good morning, everyone. I hope you are all doing well. Welcome to today's session on Java programming. So today's session will try to deal with control statements in Java. Let us recall what the concepts that we have covered in the previous class. So previous class we have studied about different operators which are available in Java. Okay. So we have tried out so many things like all the basic operators already we know because we have learned in C programming and C++. But we have seen the working of how the shift operator works. Okay. And then how the compound assignment operator, ternary operator, all these things we have learned in the previous class. So basically that is the operator's concept. So based on the requirement of the program and based on the logic of the program, we'll try to use whatever the operators we require. Okay. So in this session, we are going to cover mostly the control statements in Java, because control statements which are useful for flow of execution of the program, right? So in general, why we use control statements is, see, when I give a practical example, so basically control statements are required which control the flow of the execution of the program. Okay. And these control statements in general life, that means in actual reality, we also may come across so many different situations in life. Okay. Like sometimes you may think one way, but it happens another way. Okay. So like there are so many different but conditions in Java, in real life. Okay. So you plan in one way, but it happens another way. So according to that situation, you will react, right? Similarly, programming is nothing but it is an implementation of the real life problems, isn't it? So by using programming, we'll write a program for a problem. So what are the problems that we are facing in the real life? So what are the softwares generally? Software is made for what purpose? To make our life easier, to make our livelihood easier. Okay, so we develop so many softwares. So nothing but softwares are implemented by considering the real life problems. So when you see an example of previously or in the older days, when you go to the bank to get your job done, okay, you need to wait for a long hours, long waiting hours. Okay, so many people standing in the queue. Then your turn will come. Okay, at that time, again you go to the uh, person who is doing the bank work, right? So these are all happening. But nowadays, it is very easy that everything is in the form of a software. So this software has implemented because of the problems that we come across in the real life. So similarly, there are so many conditions that so many conditions in our life, okay, in the general problems. So all these conditions, all these if conditions, but conditions. So we need to think a solution for this and then implement it in the form of program. Then it makes our life easier. Okay. So that is the purpose of defining statements. So like control statements, in every language we have control statements. Okay. So we'll try to see what are the control statements in especially in Java. It is nothing different like in C programming. So there are three types of control statements: selection statements, iteration statements, jump statements. Okay, so selection statements are nothing but if else if ladder, then nested if. All these called as the selection statements. Whereas iteration statements are while loop, which iteration means what? Performing the set of actions repeatedly. So nothing but iterations. Iterations are nothing but while loop, do while, and for loop. Okay, all these three things will be used for iteration. Then jump statements. We have jump statements. Jump statements means you want to go to the control from one block to another block, or one class to another, or one method to another method. Okay, so based on that, jump statements will be used. So we have break and continue on return statements, which are used in Java as a jump statement. So we'll try to learn one by one. Already these concepts, you are very familiar with these concepts, because this is not the first time you are learning these concepts, because already C and C++ have the same kind of thing. Okay, so once again, I'll try to give you the brief description. So see here, Java programs control statements can be put into following categories: selection, iteration, and jump. Selection statements allow your program to choose different paths of execution based upon the outcome of an expression. Okay. So you need to select between two ways, right and wrong, yes or no, true or false. Okay. Uh, you need to execute some set of statements when the true statement is executed, when your expression becomes true. And then if the expression becomes false, then you need to follow some different set of statements. Okay. So like that, we have selection statements. Then iteration statements. Iteration statements are nothing but repeat one or more statements, okay, for certain number of times. Those are called iteration statements. Iteration means repeating. Okay, repeating some sort of statement. So for that purpose, we use loops, for loop, while loop, and do while. Whereas jump statements allows you to execute in a non-linear fashion. That means there is no particular order. You may be required to jump from one location to another, or one class to another, or one method to another. So it's not like a particular pattern will follow. Okay. So as if it is required, you want to go to that location, or you want to go to that instruction of the program. So those are called the jump statements in Java, right? So these jump statements, nothing but break, continue, and return statements are used in Java, especially. Okay. So these are all about the selection statements, iteration statements, and jump statements. So now we'll try to learn about the selection statements first. Okay. So Java supports two selection statements. One is if and second one is switch. Only if and switch. These are called as a selection statement. But again, if has some three variants: if else if ladder, and nested if. The three variants of if. Okay. Whereas switch, only one kind of switch it is. The same thing we write in C language. The same here we can implement. So if statement, you can observe that if statement is a Java conditional branch statement. It can be used to route a program execution through two different paths. So there are only two possible ways, two possible solutions. If then followed by the condition, if the condition become true, then statement one is executed. If the condition become false, statement two is executed. So this is obvious thing, right? There are only two paths. So this can be also called as a two-way branching. Okay, two-way branching means only it has two possible solutions. Based on the condition, we'll decide whether it has to execute statement one, or execute the statement. Okay, so we have a small pictorial representation for this. So this is the flowchart for if loop. So entry is here. It will test our condition. If if the condition becomes true, execute the following test expression. If the condition becomes false, then we go to the else statements. Okay. I hope you understood this. So this is a small thing. Already the concept which is very familiar to us. So that's why I'm not giving an example here. Next we go with nested if. Nested if means what? An if statement which is enclosed in the another if statement. Okay. So two if statements will be there. One is this is an outer if statement, and inner part we have another if statement. So inner if and outer if. So if you write like this in a program, it is called as a nested if. Okay. So then we have a small example here. Nested if statement. A nested if is an if statement that is target of another if or else. So you can clearly observe, okay, this program. So nested if program, see here. If I am writing a condition, I is equal to 10. Okay. Then I am giving another, I am writing another if statement inside the if statement if j less than 20. Then if j less than 20, what should happen is a is equal to b should happen. And again, in this inner if, I am writing another if else. So see here. Okay, see, I need to just give a clarity regarding this. So, okay. So now you can observe this is the outer if else, sorry, outer if. The concerned else is this one. Okay, if key if key will concerned else statement is this one. Okay, whereas for this if condition j less than 20, the else statement is a is equal to c. Okay, and for this if there is no else condition. Okay, if k greater than 100, then c is equal to d. That's it. So there is no if else condition for this particular condition, right? So based on the values we are providing, then it will be executed. Suppose if you take okay, then if you, observe that I value is 10. Okay, I value 10 అయితే ఏమవుతుంది? So when I value is 10, value is 10, what happens is I is equal to 10. It becomes true. Then it will come into the block, come into the loop. Then it will check for j value. If j less than 20, then only a is equal to b happens. And then after that, this condition also be checked. If j less than 10 is false, if j less than 20 and false, then what is the concerned else is in else a b. So else a is equal to c is executed. Okay. Otherwise, if I is equal to 10 and false, then it will directly go to else and it will execute the statement a is equal to d. That is what happens in the program. Okay. So that is about this nested if statement. I hope you understood this loop. Okay. Once again, I am repeating this loop statement. If I is equal to 10, the statement is true, then it will come into the loop and it will execute this condition j less than 20. If j less than 20 is also true, then it will execute a is equal to b and then check for the k value. Okay. If j less than 20 is false, then it will execute this statement else a is equal to c. Okay. Otherwise, if I is equal to 10 itself, here itself, the condition become false, then it will directly execute this one else a is equal to d. Right? So hope you understood this. So this is called as a nested statement. That is how you need to follow the control. ఓకే స్టేట్మెంట్ ట్రూ అవుతుందా ఫాల్స్ అవుతుందా అనే దాన్ని బట్టి మనం చూసుకుంటూ ఒకటి వెళ్తూ ఉండాలి రైట్ ఓకే నెక్స్ట్ జావా సెలక్షన్ స్టేట్మెంట్స్ లో వన్ ఆఫ్ ద అదర్ స్టేట్మెంట్ ఈస్ ఇఫ్ ఎల్స్ ఇఫ్ ladder. That means multiple if conditions ఉంటాయి like if you have more than one condition to check, either we can go for nested if or we can use this highly optimized statement which is called as a if else if ladder. Okay, so how the if else if ladder works is, first of all you need to write if condition, then statement, and if this condition become false, then you need to check another condition, else if this one. Okay, if this condition also fail, then you need to check the other condition. So like that, the conditions need to be checked. Okay, if none of the condition is true, then else statement is executed. Okay, na? So I hope you understood this. Very simple one. There are if your program has multiple conditions to check, we can go for if else if ladder. Okay, the statement we call it as an if else if ladder statement. Right. So if the condition becomes true, then statement is executed here. If this condition, the first condition fails, then go for the second condition. If this also fails, then go for third condition. If this also fails, then like that you need to check all the conditions. If none of the condition is true, then you go for the else statement. Okay. Right. So there is a small example which tells you the importance of if else statement. Okay, what is this program is? So I am writing a class if else, then public static void main string outside, then int I am giving a value for the month. Month అనే ఒక వేరియబుల్ తీసుకొని దానికి వాల్యూ 4 ఇచ్చాను. ఓకేనా? దెన్ స్ట్రింగ్ సీజన్. సీజన్ అనే ఒక వేరియబుల్ తీసుకొని దాని టైప్ ఏంటి? స్ట్రింగ్. స్ట్రింగ్ తీసుకున్నాను. సో వాట్ ఐ ట్రైంగ్ టు డూ ఇస్ ఇఫ్ మంత్ ఈజ్ ఈక్వల్ టు 12, మంత్ వాల్యూ 12 ఆర్ 1 ఆర్ 2 అయితే కనుక, okay, if it is 12 or 1 or 2, then what is the season? We call it as a winter. It's a winter season generally. Okay, December, January, and February called as a winter season. So here I am using a condition which is an equality operator, and then I have three conditions. Mood check cheyali kabatti or symbol use chesanu ikkada. Pipe, this pipe symbol is called as a logical or. So logical or is an operator, we have used it there. So season is equal to winter. Else if ఒకవేళ మంత్స్ 12, 1, 2 కాకపోతే 3, 4, 5. ఓకే, మార్చ్, ఏప్రిల్ అండ్ మే. సో మార్చ్, ఏప్రిల్, మే we call it as what is the season? Spring. Okay, then month 6, 7, 8. Okay, June, July, August, then we call it as a summer. Okay, then if it is September, October, November, it is called as an autumn. Else, if we are not giving any one of these values, there is no point of calling it as a month. Okay, months will be from 1 to 12. So 1 to 12 కాకుండా మీరు ఇంకేదైనా వాల్యూ ఇచ్చారంటే అది అసలు మంత్ అనే కాదు, అంతే కదా. సో సీజన్ బోగస్ మంత్. ఓకే, we are not giving the proper month. So okay, so season is bogus month. It will print the bogus month, right? So here is an example which tells you the importance of if else statement. Okay. See, basically these months are given. Keep in mind that US are some foreign country, but in India it is like 6 months summer and 6 months. 6 months will be definitely summer, and the remaining 6 months will be shared by winter and rainy season, I think. Okay. So that's a different issue. But I'm just kidding. Here, the ideal these winter and the spring, the summer, and autumn, these seasons are from US, I hope. Okay, right. So there is a okay, next statement is switch statement. Switch is what is generally switch is a multi-way branching statement. Okay, so if you feel uncomfortable using with the if-else statement, then we can write the same program with this switch statement also. Okay, if-else if ladder can be used or switch statement can be used. It is same thing, but with some different syntax. What happens at the switch statement is it is also a multi-way branching statement. First of all, it will check with the expression. If that expression becomes true, then it matches with the concerned case. Case 1, case 2, case 3. If none of the cases match, then default case will be executed. So that is what switch statement refers to. Okay. So you can see here switch and then expression. We are writing as an expression here. If this expression becomes true, and it will finally calculate a value. Okay. So based on this value, your concerned case is executed. If your value is 2, then case 2 will be executed. Then we will write a statement there. Then break statement is executed. Okay. Then if expression become 1, then case 1 is executed. If your expression is none of these cases, that means it is not in between these range of values, then by default the other statements we need to write here. So if none of the cases match, then default case will be executed. Okay. And one thing you need to remember is you need to write a keyword switch, then followed by an expression, then open parenthesis, then we need to write a keyword case, then here we need to give a value 1, 2, or 3 like that value. After every case statement, then you need to write a break statement, break while compulsory. Okay, because when your expression is matched with this value, only this statement has to be executed. After that, it need to come out of the loop, break. Okay, no need to attempt this case 2. Case 2 unda leda ani check cheyalsina avasaram ledhu. Okay, if your value becomes 1, then concerned statement is executed. Then after that, you just break and come out of the loop. Okay, if none of the cases is matched, okay, even the paina cases lo edi match avvakapothe, then you need to go for the default statement, right? Next. So there are some important points which are related to switch statement you need to observe is, see here, the switch differs from if in that switch can only test for equality, whereas if can evaluate any type of Boolean expression. ఓకే, ఇక్కడ మనం స్విచ్లో ఏం చేస్తామంటే టోటల్గా ఫైనల్గా మనకి కేసెస్తో ఆ వాల్యూ మ్యాచ్ అవ్వాలి. సో మనం ఆ రకంగా దానికి సంబంధించిన ప్రోగ్రామ్స్ వరకు మాత్రమే ఇక్కడ చేయగలం. వెరాజ్ ఇన్ ఇఫ్ కండిషన్స్ డిఫరెంట్ ఎవాల్యుయేషన్స్ వీ కెన్ డన్, అంటే డిఫరెంట్ ఎక్స్ప్రెషన్స్ మనం డిఫరెంట్ కేసెస్లో రాసుకోవచ్చు. అది ఇక్కడ మనం స్విచ్లో చేయలేము, రైట్? తర్వాత no two case constants is the same. In the same switch can have the identical values. Like I told you, like ఇక్కడ 1 ఇక్కడ 1, ఇక్కడ రెండిట్లో 1 పెట్టకూడదు. So this is 1 and this is 2. Okay, so each and every case value should be different from one another. Okay, there should not be any identical case values. That is what he has tried to discuss. Next, switch statement is usually more efficient than a set of nested if. So same program, nested if statements used is right. What he is trying to tell you is which is more efficient than all the nested if conditions, right? Next, iteration statements. So iteration statements, as I told you, that iteration is nothing but same set of actions you want to repeatedly perform for certain number of times. So in Java, there are 3 types of iteration statements: for, while, do while. Okay, so the most fundamental loop is while loop, as you know this. So what is the syntax for while loop is while if you check the condition first, the condition become true, then body of the loop. And the body of the loop should contains at least one increment statement. Okay, increment statement ఒక్కటన్నా ఉండాలి. ఎందుకు అంటే ఇంక్రిమెంట్ ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ అవ్వాలి. నెక్స్ట్ లూప్ లో లోపలికి వెళ్ళిన తర్వాత వాల్యూ ఇంక్రిమెంట్ అవ్వాలి. అప్పుడే మళ్ళీ మనం దాని కండిషన్ చెక్ చేయగలం. So that is what the loop condition. So while the condition is true, then body of the loop is executed. So if you see a small example here, class while public static void main string works of int n is equal to 10. Okay. Then system.out.println and minus. I'll try to execute this program for you so that you can able to understand clearly. Just open the notepad. Loop statement. I'll just copy this. Try to save it. The class name. So what is the class name is? While. So save as. How to save this file? Same as the class name, and it should be enclosed between the inverted commas. So try to remember this. So here I need to go with the desktop because the path is in the program by public static void main string works of. So now I'm checking while n greater than 0. What is the value of n? 10. So 10 greater than 0, which is true. If it is true, then it will come into the loop and system.out.println. I need to print somewhere. Tick అనేది print చేస్తున్నాను లాగా. It's a string. Then plus n. What is the value of n now? 10. Okay, so 10 will be printed. After that, what happens is n becomes minus minus. n ఒక వాల్యూ తగ్గింది అంటే now the n becomes what? 9. So again it will go to the loop 9 greater than 0. Yes, 9 greater than 0. Then it will print tick plus n. What is n value now? 9. So it is printed. Then again n minus minus, that means 8. Okay, again go to the loop. So like that it will print all the values. First tick 10, tick 9, tick 8, tick 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Like that it will display all the values. Okay, so that is what we call it as a while loop, how the working of while. Right. Okay. Right. Next thing is, see here, this is somewhat different program. See, while loop in the previous example, here the body of the while loop contains two statements. Okay, so these are the two statements in the body of the loop. What if the body of the loop doesn't have any statements? That is what my point is. Okay. Body of the loop లో ఈ రెండు స్టేట్మెంట్స్ ఇక్కడ రాసాను. అసలు ఏం స్టేట్మెంట్స్ లేవనుకోండి, అప్పుడు ఏం ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ అవుతుంది? ఓకే, దానికి ఒక ఎగ్జాంపుల్ క్లియర్గా ఇచ్చాడు మనకి, చూడండి. సో see here, no body క్లాస్ నో బాడీ అని తీసుకున్నాను. సో ఇంట్ I, J రెండు వాల్యూస్ తీసుకున్నాను. I is equal to 100 and J is equal to 200. Now I am writing a while condition, while plus I less than minus J and రాసి సెమీకాలన్ ఇచ్చేసాను అక్కడ. ఓకే, సెమీకాలన్ ఇచ్చారంటే మీనింగ్ ఏంటి? ద while loop doesn't has any body. ఓకే, బాడీ లేదు. సో no body in this loop. After that, simply I am printing a statement, system dot out dot println midpoint is plus I అని చెప్పి ప్రింట్ చేస్తాం. సో ఇది ఈ స్టేట్మెంట్ ఎందుకు రాసానో తర్వాత చూద్దాం. సో ఇక్కడ వైల్ లూప్ లో ఏం జరుగుతుంది? బాడీ లేదు, మరి బాడీ లేనప్పుడు కండిషన్ విల్ బి డెఫినెట్లీ ఎగ్జిక్యూటెడ్. Right, so here the condition will be definitely evaluated. Okay, it's a different matter that it doesn't have any body, but the condition is evaluated. Okay, ఏమవుతుందంటే ఫస్ట్ ప్లస్ I జరుగుతుంది. వాట్ ఈస్ ప్లస్ I వాల్యూని ఒకటి ఇంక్రిమెంట్ చేస్తే 100 వస్తుంది. 100 less than minus J. What is minus J? 200 కి minus చేస్తే ఎంత? 199. 100 less than 199. True. Again, మళ్ళీ ప్లస్ I minus J. 101 less than 198. 102 less than 107. ఇలా ఇవి రెండు కూడా ట్రూ అవుతానే ఉంటాయి. ఎప్పటిదాకా? ఏదో ఒక మిడ్ పాయింట్ లో ఈ రెండు కండిషన్స్ బ్రేక్ అవుతాయి. అది ఎంత? అది వాల్యూ అంటే 150. So when these values become 150, obviously the condition becomes false, because 100 will be incremented and it reaches to 150, and then minus 200 it is reaches to when becomes minus and reaches to 150. So 150 less than 150, at that point the condition breaks. Then what is the midpoint? 150. So I value is simply I value. I am printing the I value is 150. So this is a different program which the while loop has no body. Okay, so ఇలాంటి స్టేట్మెంట్స్ కూడా మనకి అప్పుడప్పుడు ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ చేయొచ్చు అన్నమాట. సో while loop లో it doesn't require that body కంపల్సరీ రాయాలని చెప్పి రూల్ ఏం లేదు. బట్ in general practice is if you want a while loop to be executed, so obviously we write the body of the loop. Okay, we write at least one or two statements in the body. Okay, so this is somewhat a different example for the while loop. Next, do while. Do while is the same, but here the one thing different from while loop is do while first the body of the loop is executed and then condition will be checked. Okay, so what is the difference between while loop and do while is at least one time the body of the loop will be executed in do while, whereas in while loop that if the condition becomes false, there itself the while loop is not executed, the body of the loop execute over. So if you spot the difference between these two things, you can able to spot one difference is at least one time the body of the loop is executed. Okay, so the same example we can write here, n is equal to 10. Okay, the same result, nothing difference here. Okay, so if you want, I'll just show you. What can we do is here simply put two statement and then here you can write So I'll try to execute the same program again. Semicolon here. Try to see what is it. It's the same result. But condition, what the condition we have written? N greater than 0. In the previous example, what we have done is n less than n greater than 0 itself. That's it. Yeah. Okay. So the same result is executed here. N greater than 0. Right? So that is what the while loop is. Only thing is body of the loop is executed at least once here. That you need to remember. Next, for loop. See, for loop basically we know that the basic for loop is this one. So this is the general for loop statement. Okay. So obviously we have learned this kind of for loop statement in many of the applications. Already in C and C++ you have done this. But Java provides a different for loop other than this. This is also there, but other than this, there is something called for each. Okay, for each and statement in Java. See, for each version of the for loop. For each style loop is designed to cycle through a collection of objects such as an array in strictly sequential form from starting to finish. For each అనేది మనం యూస్ చేస్తాము బట్ ఎప్పుడు యూస్ చేస్తామంటే అరేస్ మీద యూస్ చేస్తాము సపోజ్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్స్ కలెక్షన్స్ అని చెప్పి ఉంటాయి వాటి మీద అరే వాటి మీద మనం ఫర్ ఈచ్ అనేది యూస్ చేస్తాం ఓకే హౌ ఇట్ వర్క్స్ ఇస్ సీ హియర్ ద సింటాక్స్ ఆఫ్ ద ఫర్ లూప్ ఇస్ ఫర్ నేను రైట్ ఫర్ దెన్ ఒక వేరియబుల్ ఏదన్నా ఒక ఇటరేషన్ వేరియబుల్ ఇంట్ ఎక్స్ ఇంట్ వై ఆర్ ఇంట్ జెడ్ సంథింగ్ లైక్ వేరియబుల్ తీసుకోవాలి ఇక్కడ. Then after that you need to write a collection. Collection may be an object or a array. ఇక్కడ array గానీ లేకపోతే ఆబ్జెక్ట్ కానీ పెట్టొచ్చు. మధ్యలో there is a colon symbol. Okay, not a semicolon, colon symbol. Then after that you need to write a statements. Okay, ఈ లూప్ కింద మీరు ఏ స్టేట్మెంట్స్ రాయాలనుకుంటున్నారో అవి రాయొచ్చు. So I'll try to explain with an example here. See, the general for loop. Suppose we have a array which the name is called num. The name of the array is nums. So we have certain values in the array. Array with certain values. Then, if you want to print the sum of all the values of this array, then we can write a for loop. Int I is equal to 0, I less than 10, because I have 10 values. I less than 10, I plus plus, sum plus is equal to nums of I. So each and every value will be added to the sum. So first one will be stored in sum, then 1 plus 2, 3 will be stored in sum, then 3 plus 3, 6 will be stored in sum. Like that, this is the for loop, it happens. The same operation that we can also be done with the help of a for each. The same operation, so we can done with the for each. So like how we can done is, int nums is equal to the array declaration, then sum is equal to 0, some variable, okay, sum of the variable. Then here see the statement here. Instead of writing this statement, int I is equal to 0, I less than 10, I plus plus, we can write int for int x. X is some variable, colon nums. What is this nums? It is the name of the array. So here the syntax is type iteration. That means here we need to write the iteration variable. What is the iteration variable here? X. Okay, x refers to each and every value in the array. Here what is x is nothing but x refers to each and every value in the array. So that value will be summed to variable called sum. Okay, so each and every value of the x will be added to sum. Okay, first x లో స్టోర్ అవుతుంది, ఆ x వాల్యూని సమ్ కి యాడ్ చేస్తున్నాం మనం. దట్ ఈస్ వాట్ ఫర్ ఈచ్ స్టేట్మెంట్. Okay, you can observe this. So that is a for each version of for loop. Okay, so only it works with a sequential collection of data. You need to remember this point. It works with only the sequential collection of data. It doesn't work with each of every condition. Only arrays objects what we work with. That you need to do. Next, there is something called nested if. Sorry, nested for loop. For loop like for loop right I is equal to 0, I less than 10, I plus plus. J is equal to 0, J less than 10, J plus plus. So system will output println dot. Okay, so it will print like this. First, this for loop refers to number of rows. Okay, number of rows, and this for loop refers to number of columns. So any rows 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 rows. I want 10 rows, and for each and every row, I need 10 columns also. The 10 columns lay in print dot print. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You can observe this. Here we have 10 dots. Okay, 10 dots ఉంటాయి. ఆ 10 dots తర్వాత నెక్స్ట్ లైన్ println స్టేట్మెంట్ రావాలి. అందుకే ఇప్పుడు println రాస్తాం. ఓకే, println స్టేట్మెంట్. ఆ తర్వాత మళ్ళీ నెక్స్ట్ ఈసారి ఓన్లీ 9 dots మాత్రమే ప్రింట్ అవుతాయి. బికాస్ ఆల్రెడీ వీఆర్ ఇన్ టు ద సెకండ్ రో. ఓకే, సో సెకండ్ రోకి వచ్చేసరికి ఓన్లీ 9 rows. 9 column values ప్రింట్ అవుతాయి అన్నమాట. బికాస్ ఐ వాల్యూ అండ్ జే వాల్యూస్ ఇంక్రిమెంటెడ్ కదా, ఇంక్రిమెంట్ అవుతుంది కదా. ఇంక్రిమెంట్ అవుతూ ఏమవుతుందంటే అలాగే మనకి ఇంకొక వాల్యూ తగ్గుకుంటూ వస్తుంది, చివరిలో 1 dot వస్తుంది. This is how you can write a nested if. Next we have jump statements in Java. Basically we have 3 different types of jump statements: break, continue, and return. So obviously break and whenever we use a break statement, it will come out of the loop. Okay, it will exit out of the loop. Loop into white patches. Okay, continue ante it will skip the iteration and continue with the next iteration. Okay, I'll show you the example. One more thing is go to అనేది ఉండదు. Go to స్టేట్మెంట్ జావాలో ఉంటుంది, బట్ దానికి బదులు మనం break, continue or return statements వాడుకుంటాం to transfer the control from one point to another point. Okay, already the break statement importance maku telusu. Already we seen that in switch statement. Okay, anyhow we'll try to see an example. Some more different points for a loop. For a break is using break to exit a loop. So you can forcefully immediate termination of the loop. If forceful గా వెంటనే మనం బయటకు వచ్చేయాలనుకుంటే కనుక then we use break statement. So you can see here a small example. Public static void main string box for int I is equal to 0, I less than 100, I plus plus. Okay, I is equal to 10 అయితే కనుక ఏమవ్వాలి, లూప్ బ్రేక్ అవ్వాలి. వీడు అండ్ ఐ వాల్యూ 100 దాకా లూప్ రాశాడు, బట్ ఎప్పుడైతే ఐ వాల్యూ 10కి రీచ్ అయిందో ఇట్ హ్యాస్ టు బి బ్రేక్. ఓకే, సో ఫస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ఆల్ 0 నుంచి 9 వరకు మొత్తం ప్రింట్ అవుతూ వస్తుంది. ఆఫ్టర్ దట్ వెన్ ఐ బికమ్స్ 10 ఇట్ బ్రేక్. బ్రేక్ అంటే నథింగ్ బట్ యూ నీడ్ టు కమ్ అవుట్ ఆఫ్ ద లూప్. లూప్ నుంచి బయటకు వచ్చేయాలి. ఆఫ్టర్ కమింగ్ అవుట్ ఆఫ్ ద లూప్ there is only one statement to execute, which is called loop complete. Then we'll simply print the statement. Next, continue. Okay, continue చూడండి, somewhat different is continue. For int I is equal to 0, I less than 10, I plus plus. If I is equal to 4, then continue. Okay, then system.out.println I. First of all, I value becomes 0, 0 less than 10. Okay, after that 0 is equal to 4. Is it true or false? 0 4 ki equal. కాదు కాబట్టి ఈ లోపలికి వచ్చి కంటిన్యూ ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ చేయదు. ఇట్ విల్ కమ్ అవుట్ ఆఫ్ ద లూప్ అండ్ ప్రింట్ ద వాల్యూ I. సో వాట్ ఇస్ I వాల్యూ? 0. 0 ప్రింట్ అయిపోయింది. నెక్స్ట్ థింగ్ ఇస్ అగైన్ I becomes 1. 1 less than 10, which is true. 1 is equal to 4. True or false? 1 is equal to 4. False. Kabatti it will not execute continue. Okay, it will print the value 1. Like that, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 దగ్గర చూడండి తేడా వస్తుంది. Okay, it differs it 4. 4 less than 10, which is true. Okay, 4 less than 10, which is true. Now it comes into the loop. 4 is equal to 4. 4 is equal to 4 అయినప్పుడు ట్రూ, కండిషన్ బికమ్ ట్రూ. ట్రూ అయితే ఏమవ్వాలి? లోపలికి వచ్చి కంటిన్యూ స్టేట్మెంట్ ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ అవ్వాలి. అయితే కంటిన్యూ అని ఎప్పుడైతే ఇక్కడ రాస్తామో ఇట్ విల్ గో అగైన్ టు ద లూప్. మళ్ళీ లూప్ కి పైకి వెళ్ళిపోతుంది. అంటే ఈ I వాల్యూ 4 అయినప్పుడు అది ప్రింట్ అవ్వదు. ఓకే, whenever become I value 4, it will not be printed. So that's why when you see the output here, 4 will be missing here. Remaining all the values will be printed, but 4 ఉండదు. ఎందుకు? When 4 enters, what you are doing, you are directing the pointer to again go to the loop. Continue అంటే మీనింగ్ ఏంటంటే మళ్ళీ పైకి వెళ్ళిపోవు అని. సో దట్స్ వై 4 అనే చోట వాల్యూ ప్రింట్ అవ్వదు. కాబట్టి యూ విల్ గెట్ ద ఆన్సర్ 0, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right? So that is about the Java continuous statement. I hope you understood the continuous statement. Okay. Next, the last one is return. So return is obviously what, when you write return, it will go back to the caller. Caller means ఎవరైతే ప్రోగ్రామ్ కాల్ చేశారో వాళ్ళ దగ్గరికి వెళ్ళిపోతుంది అన్నమాట. రిటర్న్ స్టేట్మెంట్ రాస్తాం. You can see a small example here. As return public static void string also boolean value. I am taking a boolean value which is t. Boolean t is equal to true. Okay. The system.out.println before the return. If t, if t ante what is the value of t? True. So if t aithe ante if t ante meaning true anedi, so true అయినప్పుడు ఏమవ్వాలి? రిటర్న్ టు ద కాలర్, పైకి వెళ్ళిపోవాలి. కాలర్ ఎవరు? ఇక్కడ మనకి కాల్ చేసిన ఎవరు? మెయిన్. సో మెయిన్ కాల్ చేసిన కాబట్టి మెయిన్ దగ్గరికి వెళ్ళిపోయింది. Okay. And then ఈ స్టేట్మెంట్ ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ అవ్వదు. సో system.out.println, this won't execute. The statement we have written inside the if లోపల రాసాం. if లోపల రెండు స్టేట్మెంట్స్ రాసాం. ఒకటి రిటర్న్, రెండోది system.out.println, this won't execute. So according to the program, first of all, main will be executed. After that it comes to this initialization, then it will print the statement before the return. Then if t means true అయితే ఏమవ్వాలి? రిటర్న్ అవ్వాలి. రిటర్న్ అంటే అక్కడికి పైకి వెళ్ళిపోవాలి. మెయిన్ ప్రోగ్రామ్, it need to go to the main program. Okay, after that the program ends. So this statement is not executed. So as you can see here, output is only before the return is executed. Right? So this is how we can execute the jump statements. Right? So that is about the control statements in Java. So which ends your first chapter. Because first chapter we have 3 sections. One is programming structure in Java, which explains you the basic programming elements. Then how the sample program of Java, then tokens, all these things. And second thing we have learned about data types, then operators. Then the final part is control statements in Java, which is nothing but 3 different control statements: selection, iteration, and jump statement. Selection contains if else if ladder, then switch. Iteration means for, while, do while. Whereas jump statement means break, continue, return. Okay. So there ends your first chapter.